What if I just train for looks? The mostly automatic visual assessment of my own body is the same assessment I also have for other people. That's what Mike Israetel says in his book, The Aesthetic Revolution. He also mentions that most people train for looks anyway. So acknowledging it, changing the optimization goal from whatever it was before, like get stronger, but how do you measure? Increasing grip strength? It's nice, but then what about the thickness of the neck? One needs an approach that integrates all the different variables with their proportionate weights. If I want my shoulder to look like this without a pump, then what if I just optimize for how it looks? And because muscle mass and strength are correlated to quite an extent anyway, this, I think, allows a less complicated approach to training. I can take a look in the mirror and see, okay, my traps are underdeveloped. My arms, compared to my torso, especially my chest if I train it more, are also underdeveloped. My triceps is stronger than my biceps. So what I can do is change the training volume proportion to how I want the muscles to develop at different rates. Looks also allows to integrate two additional variables. Inflammation-induced temporary muscle volume increase, which can be also used as a tool. If I, in 2 days, want to have better looking biceps, then I can train biceps more, induce inflammation, which then gives them more volume temporarily. The second integration is pump. The pump, as Andrew Huberman puts it, is kind of a window into the future of one's physique. What the physique looks like after training and with proportionate pump. But of course, if I don't train whole body, then the system falls apart. So ideally, every training is a marginal increase, a vector that points towards the ideal physique. And so I usually train whole body because then I can visually assess after every training. I don't need to wait for a never occurring moment when the inflammation-induced volume, the pump, as well as the actual muscle mass, as well as the water drawn in from creatine, in terms of the proportions align. Which of course, if I continue to train in a split, is never the case. So I train proportionally my body up to what it visually looks the best. And because the visual assessment has function already integrated, at least probably one could make the evolutionary argument that it would make sense to do so. I also train my body proportionally, but simultaneously have a very easy to use, because all of the compute is handled by my subconscious, or most of the compute. I just have to kind of play the architect. Easy to use function to optimize for when doing sport, but also health optimizing, because let's say my pec looks like this, but then I have stretch marks here and wrinkles begin to appear. Then what this optimization drives me to do is to seek out things that I can do to again look better, make the skin look better. The skin assessment is also included in the visual assessment. Just like my crow's feet and my already look like I'm 30, which I am. But now it drives me to seek out methods such as a microneedle, which within a few months, if done, which according to ChatGPT, in a few months with the right frequency and needle depth, can make my skin in terms of collagen, so collagen skin age, one could call it, 1 to 2 years younger. This approach also integrates the face. Looks makes us like Clavicula repeated the statement that, well, bodybuilders ignored the face. It's not that they actually did, it's just like an over-exaggeration. Conor Murphy, for example, already years ago trained his masseter muscles. And also Brett Maverick and similar. And these two are actually also friends, it seems, at least up until Conor Murphy recently seems to have deceased. They both already for years have been talking about also hypertrophying the face, the facial musculature, mostly the masseter as well as the temporalis. And if I look into the mirror and my face looks bloated and my face doesn't match the muscularity of my body, then this is the right incentive that then drives me to seek out methods to now also hypertrophy the face to then again match the body. The visual assessment also allows easy comparison of oneself to others. I don't have to know the body fat percentage. I can just look at them. If they look shredded, then it doesn't matter what their body fat percentage is. Of course now, if they are shredded, but they can only deadlift 60 kilos, then well, they maxed out in terms of looks, but can only deadlift 60 kilos. But because of the halo effect and how strong it is, how it even seems to predict elections up to a certain percentage. I think I once heard like up to 30% of election outcomes is like just a halo effect, which in the male domain also include physical dominance, including male dimorphic features, height, and muscle mass. And when speaking, maybe also the frequency of the voice, which also seems to be kind of modulated by testosterone as it hypertrophies the vocal cords, or dare I say, the vocal cords.